Good morning. My name is Paula Watson, and I am a member of this congregation and very pleased to be your worship associate today. On behalf of Reverend Dave Dunn, Interim Minister Liz Martin, Director of Religious Exploration Lexi T. Brown, our music director Alex Peach, and the greeters and technical team that are making today's live stream possible. I would like to welcome you to the Unitarian Universalist Metro Atlanta North, which we lovingly call UUMAN. UUMAN is a liberal faith community with the mission to nurture our spirit, strive for justice, and transform the world. No matter who you are, whom you love, or where you are on your spiritual journey, all are welcome here. And welcome to all of us joining remotely. For any visitors who are here for the first time and are comfortable doing so, would you please stand and tell us your name, where you're from, so that we can get to know you better? Are there any visitors on my left? Your right? On this side? Okay. A few announcements. Are you new to UUMAN and want to know more about us? If so, please attend the UU 101 information session, which will be offered during second hour this morning. To celebrate Autumn Fest on October 26th, wear your funniest, scariest, cutest, or group costume for the costume contest. Please consult your printed order of worship to see our second hour adult enrichment offerings for today. And now, let us greet one another with the hand or elbow of friendship.
Ya ya ya, was wonderful. Before I get started, a couple things. We need to welcome back Lexi, who went off and had a child. So great. It's so great to have her back, and with Connor. And while she was gone, a special thank you to Cassie Love. Where is Cassie? Who really did an outstanding job of basically doing her job in Lexi's absence. So thank you, Cassie. And one other thing. Also, last week was Pride, and we have never been more organized for Pride than we were this year. And that is, again, the result of Lexi. This is organizing all of us, all the UU churches in the area, not just UUMAN. And Ash Battiselli, I haven't seen her, but she did a great job, or they did a great job as well. And also Terry and Paul driving the float, making the balloons. And also some others behind the scenes, Andrea, doing a lot of work, and Michelle also organizing us, having great ideas to do better jobs. So very proud of what we did for Pride this year. So today's call to worship is by the Reverend Erica Hewitt. Let us remember to celebrate this morning that each of our bodies was woven together in the depth of mystery. Cells multiplying, tissue taking form, organs taking up their functions under the silky cover of skin. Let us gather in reverence for the gift of these bodies, whatever their ages, their shapes, their abilities. And may we know them to be channels of the world and the divine, coming alive through us. And now let us light our chalice together.
We light our chalice as a symbol of the light within us and the life that flows through the world around us. It is our beacon as we search for truth. It is the warmth in our hearts for love, and it is the energy that propels us to action. May we be kindled by our time together. Thank you. And now, as you are able, would you please stand and sing our opening hymn, number 1009, When I Breathe in the soft teal hymnal. This is the time in our service where children, young and old, are invited to the front for our time for all ages. After the story, children are invited to exit into Fellowship Hall for Children's Chapel for the remainder of the service. If this is your child's first time attending Children's Chapel, please walk them to Fellowship Hall. After service, please escort your children to their appropriate RE classroom in Discovery Cottage for our second hour.
Can everybody hear me? Yes, okay. The story today is called The Three Questions, and it's based on a story by Leo Tolstoy. There once was a boy named Nikolai, this is a big book, who sometimes felt uncertain about the right way to act. I want to be a good person, he told his friends, but I don't always know the best way to do that. Nikolai's friends understood and they wanted to help him. If only I could find the answers to my three questions, Nikolai continued, then I would always know what to do. When is the best time to do things? Who is the most important one? And what is the right thing to do? Nikolai's friends considered his first questions. Then Sonia, the Huron, spoke. To know the best time to do things was things one must plan in advance, she said. Gogol the monkey, who had been rooting through some leaves to find something good to eat, said, you will know when to do things if you watch and pay close attention. Then Pushkin, the dog, who was just dozing off, rolled over and said, you can't pay attention to everything yourself. You need a pack to keep watch and to help you decide when to do things. For example, Gogol, a coconut is about to fall on your head. Nikolai thought for a moment. Then he asked his second question. Who's the most important one? Those who are closest to heaven, said Sonia, circling up into the sky. Those who know how to heal the sick, said Gogol, stroking his bruised noggin. Those who make the rules, growled Pushkin. Nikolai thought some more. Then he asked the third question. What is the right thing to do? Flying, said Sonia. Having fun all the time, laughed Gogol. Fighting, barked Pushkin, right away. Then the boy thought for a long while. He loved his friends, and he knew they were trying to do their best to help him answer his questions, but their answers didn't seem quite right. Then an idea came to him. I know, he thought, I will ask Leo the turtle. He has lived a very long time, and surely he will know the answers I am looking for. Nikolai hiked high up into the mountains where the turtle lived all alone. When Nikolai arrived, he found Leo digging a garden. The turtle was old and the digging was hard for him. I have 3 questions and I came to ask your help, Nikolai said. When is the best time to do things? Who is the most important one? And what is the right thing to do? Leo listened carefully, but he only smiled. Then he went on with his digging. You must be tired, Nikolai said at last. Let me help you. The turtle gave him his shovel and he thanked him. And because it was easier for a young boy to dig than it was for an old turtle, Nikolai kept digging until all the rows were finished. But just as he finished, the wind blew wildly and rain burst from darkened clouds. As they moved toward the cottage for shelter, Nikolai suddenly heard a call for help. Running down the path, he found a panda whose leg had been hit by a fallen tree. Carefully, Nikolai carried the panda back into Leo's house and made a splint for her leg with a stick of bamboo. The storm raged on, banging at the doors and windows, which woke the panda up. Where am I, she said, and where is my baby? Nikolai ran out of the cottage and down the path. The roar of the storm was deafening. Pushing against the howling wind and drenching rain, he ran further into the forest. There he found the panda's baby, cold and shivering on the ground. The little panda was wet and scared, but alive. Nikolai carried her inside and made her warm and dry. Then he laid her in his mother's arms. Leo smiled when he saw what the boy had done. The next morning, the sun was warm, the birds all sang, and all was well with the world again. The panda's leg was healing nicely, and she thanked Nikolai for saving her and her baby from the storm. At that moment, Sonia, Gogol, and Pushkin arrived to make sure everyone was all right. Nikolai felt great peace within himself. He had wonderful friends, and he had saved the panda and her child. But he also felt disappointed. He still didn't have the answers to his 3 questions, so he asked Leo one more time. The old turtle looked at the boy. "But your questions have been answered," he said. "They have?" "Yesterday, if you had not stayed to help me dig my garden, you wouldn't have heard the pandas cry for help in the storm. Therefore, the most important time was the time you spent digging in my garden for me. The most important one at that moment was me, and the most important thing to do was to help me with my garden. Later, when you found the injured panda, the most important time was the time you spent mending her leg and saving her child. The most important ones were the panda and her baby. And the most important thing to do was to take care of them and to make them safe. Remember that there is only one important time, and that time is now. The most important one is always who you are with, and the most important thing to do is good for the one who is standing at your side. For these, my dear boy, are the answer to what is most important in this world. This is why we are here."
At this point in our service, we share our joys with each other to magnify them, and our sorrows to divide the weight of their pain. If you are so moved, please feel free to come forward, state your name, and drop a pebble in the water and express a joy or a sorrow you may have. For those of you attending via our live stream, if you have a joy or a sorrow that you would like to share, please type it in the chat.
Hi, I'm Christina Peterson. I am a member of this church with my family. I have a pebble of joy. Yesterday was the No Kings protest. I'm sure some of you went, yay. But my joy is actually also part pride, because I'm very proud of my husband, who stood up in front of all of those people and gave a speech, which was way out of his wheelhouse. And he did an amazing job, and I'm super proud of him. So that is my pebble of joy.
I just want to follow up on that. Mark spoke at the main event in Atlanta, and his warm-up acts were Raphael Warnock and Stacey Abrams. And they couldn't hold a candle to him. So I was so proud that he was there doing that. He gave a great talk, and it was just wonderful to see. Now, did anybody go to an event yesterday anywhere in Atlanta? Show of hands. It's so wonderful. I know there's a lot of people here who aren't here who went. We had folks at UUMAN in Atlanta and Tucker and East Cobb, two of them in Swanee up that way, Woodstock, Smyrna, Gainesville. It's just wonderful that you are all able to go out there. Really, I'm proud. So thank you for that.
Hi, I'm Ann Bender. I'm a member of this congregation, and I have three. The first is, many of you have heard me talk about being a member of the Gwinnett County Historical Restoration and Preservation Board. For years, I've been asking the county to have community conversations regarding the big house down in Centerville. It was a former plantation that was purchased by freed slaves, and they've been dragging their feet and kicking the can down the road. Yesterday morning, first community conversation, and it was fabulous. So that's one. Second is, obviously, the No Kings rallies yesterday were fabulous. We had a great time. Went with a neighbor, and it was just, we had a fabulous time. And the third was last night here, new members cookout. It was great. Thank you.
My name is Seth, and I'm a member of the congregation. You never know what influence you'll have when you make a speech. So I went home last Sunday after the sermon and discovered that I needed to reconnect with one of my old friends who was a Trump person, and so I reached out and we reconnected. It's very satisfying, so there you go.
Hi, my name is Joan, and I am a member of this congregation. And my joy is that many of you know the journey that my granddaughter has been on with her leukemia. This weekend, my daughter and her husband and Ellen are at a camp for kids with cancer. And little Ellen, who's really been struggling lately with adjusting to pre-care and all kinds of changes and transitions in her life, got up on the stage in the talent show. She doesn't have like a official talent you would think of, but she danced to her heart's content and got a standing ovation, and I'm just so proud of how special that is for her. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Liz. I'm the intern minister, and I want to drop a stone for all of the federal employees who are affected by the shutdown right now. My husband is an essential employee, which means that he still has to go to work every day, but isn't getting a paycheck.
I'll drop this final pebble for all the joys and sorrows that are still too tender to leave our hearts.
Chinese writer Lin Yutang writes, "If one's bowels move, one will be happy. If they don't, one will not be happy." I think we could probably, come to an agreement that it might take more than the movement of one's bowels to be happy, but we would probably not disagree that if one's bowels do not move, one will not be happy. Much of my training on being a certified yoga instructor focused not on teaching poses, but teaching people. In fact, we had to read a book called Teaching People, Not the Poses. And in that book, author Jay Fields writes, "Years of teaching yoga have made me certain of this. Nearly every single student arrives to class disconnected from their bodies or disconnected from their nervous system, or having a nervous system that is either revved up or shut down." She continues, "Our primary job is not to teach them postures. Our primary job is to help them come back to their bodies in a way that allows them to resource themselves and be with what is. To come back to their bodies in a way that allows them to resource themselves and be with what is." In much of the Western world, we often relegate the body to fitness, physical fitness. Some religious traditions, even the philosophy of Plato, said that we needed to transcend the body, that the body was bad. We disparaged the body. Well, even today, when we talk of whole body health, we're just talking about physical bodies, as if it's disconnected from everything else, and that it has nothing to do with spiritual health. In the Torah, the first 5 books of the Hebrew Bible, there are 613 mitzvot, commandments. So if you count them up, there's 613. And they're categorized in two ways. The first category are the negative mitzvot, the negative commandments, like you shall not steal. And there happen to be 365 of those, one for every day of the year. The second category are the positive mitzvot, positive commandments, like you shall love your neighbor as yourself, which is in Leviticus. And there happen to be 248 of those, which corresponds to, into Jewish rabbinical literature, the 248 parts of the body. So with this, what they're saying, the Torah commands that each and every day, your body, and its 248 parts are living, breathing Torah, reflecting the will of God every day. To be living, breathing Torah, I mean, that's a tall order for corporeal flesh and bone. I mean, let's face it, bodies age. They break down, some sooner than others. Sometimes it's a challenge to be in one's body. We get sick. The Vedas were composed about 3,000 years ago by the people in the Indus River Valley in northwestern India. They are perhaps the oldest known religious texts. And from the Vedas and the later Upanishads, which were based upon the Vedas, the foundations of Hinduism, yoga, and Ayurvedic natural medicine came forth. And they weren't disparate things. They were all part of one thing, one spiritual, religious, sentimentalism of religion. Yoga, Hinduism, Ayurvedic medicine, all integrated. Actually, yoga itself, we think of yoga as being a bunch of postures. They're called the asanas in yoga. But actually, the asanas are merely one limb of an 8-limbed path whose goal is spiritual meditation and enlightenment. To be clear, the big picture, this training isn't about improving or bettering one's physical body. It's simply about integrating the body which is always in the present moment, with the rest of your being, including your innate spiritual nature. Again, J. Fields says, it's not about improving the body, but allowing one to come back to their bodies, to resource themselves, and be with what is. What did these composers of the Vedas and the Upanishads know about the workings of the body? It wasn't until the time of the Renaissance that we began to understand this, like the central nervous system. At that time, the time of the Renaissance, we began to understand that we had this nerve called the vagus nerve that controlled our what's called the parasympathetic nervous system, which controls all of our involuntary movements. It controls sweat glands, inflammation, our bowels, our digestive system, our stomach, our heart rate, how our lungs work, how we communicate in our throat, pituitary gland. That's what we learned starting with the time of the Renaissance. Prior to this scientific understanding, however, the people of the Indus River Valley understood functionally what came to be known as this vagus nerve. And it, along with its branches in the body, were symbolized by them has chakras. They're called chakras. And there are many different representation of chakras, but generally the standard one is that there are 7. And beginning with the base of the spine to the crown of the head, there is follows. The first chakra is the red root chakra located at the base of the spine. It helps us in our elimination systems and gives energy to our lower body. It helps us to remind ourselves of being connected to the earth. And the type of yoga poses to activate that chakra are the standing poses. The second chakra is the orange sacral chakra located just below the navel. It gives energy to our reproductive organs and urinary tract, and it's stimulated by doing hip opening poses. The third is the yellow solar plexus chakra located just below the solar plexus. And it provides energy to many of the key organs in our body: stomach, intestines, liver. And it's activated by doing twisting type of poses. The fourth is the green heart chakra, located at the heart. And it stimulates the heart, also the lungs, and shoulders and arms. And we activate this chakra by doing heart openers or back bends. The fifth is the blue throat chakra. And it controls communication and stimulation of the thyroid gland. And it's activated by yoga poses that lower the head or forward folds, forward bends. The sixth is the violet third eye chakra, located in the forehead. Helps us with clear thinking, wisdom, and equanimity in our actions and in our lives. And it is activated by using balance poses. Those are the hardest ones for me. The seventh is the crystal chakra, located at the crown, or the crown chakra. It stimulates the brain, the nervous system, and to feelings of deep spiritual enlightenment and connection. And those poses to stimulate that chakra are inversions, when you get your hips above your head, or maybe even your feet above your head. So in a typical yoga practice, where the asanas or poses are practiced, it's important to practice poses from each of those different types. Standing poses, hip openers, balance poses, to activate all the chakras in their entirety. Or from a more modern sensibility, to activate muscle, bone, tendon, cartilage, and all in our nervous system and all their tributaries. You don't do one at the expense of the other. You do it all to activate your entire parasympathetic nerve and all the organs that it supports. In essence, you're doing complete body training in its entirety, but not to better the body. It's for other purposes. So why do we do this? Just as a part of a good fitness program? Well, it is, but it is more than that. Again, in Western sensibilities, if we believe that if spirituality is sourced in the mind or in some ineffable entity beyond the mind, the body simply isn't needed for that. It needs to be transcended. And we have this, if that is what we believe, then we have this dualism, mind-body, separate. Yet in many Eastern religions and Eastern traditions, spiritual enlightenment is achieved after removing this dualism. That the mind, body are one, mind-body, one entity. The body is central to the practice of enlightenment itself. For example, Zen master Shinichiro Suzuki writes in his book Zen Mind, Beginner's Mind, which is a brilliant book that You probably need to read it 10 times, but it is a brilliant book. He says, the most important thing in taking the Zazen posture, the Zazen posture is simply sitting meditation, okay? He says the most important thing in taking the Zazen posture is to keep your spine straight. To take this posture itself is the purpose of our practice. When you have this posture, you have the right state of mind. And there's no need to try to attain anything else. Wow. We make it so complicated. So are your chakras balanced? Are your bodies integrated with the entirety of our nature, including your innate spiritual nature? Can we get in touch with our bodies in a way that allows us to resource ourselves and be present with what is? Author, life coach, and Tai Chi instructor Patty De La Rosa writes, once we accept that our problem-solving energy will never be powerful enough to storm the gates of heaven and rest in experience of the divine, then we can focus our attention on our body consciousness, our own fundamental power, and work to awaken it. The answer to our need for spiritual energy is not to strain upwards to the heavens, but to prepare the ground, which is ourselves, so that higher energy can find a place in us to flower. Last month, we were supposed to do this invocation, but things got messed up. So we're doing it today. In 1906, on September 22nd through 24th, an event called the Atlanta Race Massacre took place, and we are going to do an invocation of that event. Let us imagine in secret anticipation somewhere the victims, yearning that what we do here today will lead to justice for them and their families, the righting of wrongs, the healing of harms, and no more victims.
Imagine persons in secret anticipation somewhere, the perpetrators, yearning that what we do today will lead to rehabilitation for them and their families, and correction for the society that brought them up as children of hate. This is the same society would go about the rightings of wrongs, the healing of harms, and no more victims.
For these days of 1906 remembrance, let us imagine persons in secret anticipation somewhere, the bystanders and spectators, yearning that what we do here today will lead to courage and compassion for them and their families, and for people like them, people like us, brought up to yield to the majority to fear standing alone against injustice and oppression, who could not even imagine the changes that a generation like ours would attempt, the righting of wrongs, the healing of harms, and no more victims.
If you are a praying person, pray on behalf of the people, the victims, that there may be justice on the earth. If you are a forgiving person, forgive the people, the perpetrators, for the sake of the possibility of rehabilitation. If you are a generous person, grant to the people, the bystanders and spectators, the possibility of acting with courage and compassion to prevent the next cycle of victims. If you are a self-loving person, let's work together to ensure that ourselves and our descendants will sustain principled actions on behalf of all who share our common humanity.
For these days of 1906 remembrance, let us lift our voices together in solidarity by making this 4-word affirmation of spiritual agreement. So repeat after me. Amen.
Amen.
Ashe.
Ashe.
Salam.
Salam.
Shalom.
Shalom.
And now let us enter into a moment of shared silence. Amen. Ashe. Salam. Shalom.
One Million Voices was inspired by the courage of individuals who are willing to take risks, to come forward, speak their truths, and stand up for human rights.
In an effort to fulfill and further the vision and mission of this congregation, we ask that our members and friends share of their time, treasure, and talents. With this, we will now take the offering. You may also use the Give Now option in the Breeze app. This month's 50/50 recipient is the Roswell Empowered. Any checks given specifically designated as 50/50 or Breeze donations specifying Give to 50/50 this month will go to support their work.
Thank you, Alex. That was beautiful. Thank you. We accept this sacred offering, generously given by our beloved members and friends. May we use it wisely and judiciously in service to our mission.
To sing our closing hymn, number 1064. It's in the soft back teal hymnal.
Standing on these mountains and plains, far away.
And now let us extinguish our chalice together. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we're again.
Go lift it up. And let us be grateful for these bodies, these blessings that bring the world to life. And let us also be grateful and embrace the holy. Let us be grateful for the presence of love that creates and sustains life. Go in peace and enjoy your week.